You have advantages that Warren Buffett doesn't have. To a large extent, your net worth is going to be a lifestyle choice, and it's not just math. It's not just math. Some of you don't want to hear that, but if you understood, if you had a proficiency in math and a proficiency in finance, and if you understood a lot of the silly human things, that we talk about, that we talked about all week here, and that we've talked about in those courses, if you understood the silly human elements of the foibles of human thought, the shortcomings of human thought, first it helps you identify the stupid shit you're doing to yourself and mitigate that. You won't get rid of it. You won't eradicate that. You'll mitigate some of the stupid decisions that you make, because we're all going to make more stupid decisions. The smartest ones here know that. The dumbest ones are naive and think they're not going to make more stupid decisions. They're going to make the worst stupid decisions. So you're going to make more stupid decisions, but if you could mitigate that and then just have some awareness of some of the dumbass things that the other humans are doing, there's really tremendous profits to be made from that. And at Warren Buffett scale, if you're managing 600 billion or whatever he's managing right now, it's hard to multiply that money when you get into hundreds of billions, because you're a significant part of the economy at that point, But on the level of millions or tens of millions, you can multiply that. And you have advantages, and you have advantages that Warren Buffett doesn't have in terms of percentage returns. It's hard to multiply hundreds of billions of dollars. So hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have advantages of if he wants to accumulate a position in a stock, he might be buying Apple for 2 months. You just buy an Apple for 2 months. If he wants to unwind a position, when he was selling Wells Fargo, April or so last year, he drove the fucking price down another 12%. So he's buying such large amounts of something, on the way in and on the way out. He's paying more to get in, and he's getting less when he gets out of a position, because they have to be big positions, or it doesn't move the needle for his business, for his company. So you don't have that. If you're trading a normal stock, you're getting market price. If you're tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not moving the price much, or if it is, it's a few pennies. It's insignificant, So you have some advantages that he doesn't have, and I hope you take advantage of that. I hope many of you are, and you're on that path. But for the others that maybe haven't considered a couple of the things that I've said, is like, there's a lot of money to be made if you want it. And maybe you don't have the obsession with money that I did. And there's nothing wrong with that. You might be happier. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can't imagine that anybody here would be worse off if they had an extra $5 million. That'd buy you a lot of peace of mind, and a buffer in your life, and a lot of peace of mind that I don't think anybody else would be worse off having a few $1 million. I hope each one of you goes and does that. You can if you want to. You still think you're doing a sales call. A lot of your problems are, and I'm not trying to be too snarky about it, but I think I'm a good marketer. I don't give a fuck about sales. I think I'm a good marketer. I'd say, regarding clients, I'd say again, I don't think about sales much. I think if you're a good marketer, if you could provide somebody a targeted opportunity that legitimately would be extremely valuable to the right person, those people, when they self-identify, they're coming to you telling you why they're supposed to work with you. They go out of their way to tell you, like, I need to work with you. It's important for this reason, this reason, this reason. I understand it's going to take 10, 15, 20 hours a week. I understand I'm going to be sleep deprived. What are some other things I tell you guys? I say you're going to be sleep deprived. I say you're going to hate me. I say you're going to fucking, when you get in this program, you're going to curse me. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to call me dirty names. You're going to curse yourself. I mean, that's my marketing. Is like, you're gonna work so hard that you're gonna be frustrated with me. You're gonna have negative thoughts about me. You're gonna have negative thoughts about yourself and self-doubt. It was like, why the hell did I get myself into this? And by the end of that course, I want to make sure that you learn things that were so valuable and so pragmatically useful that you can go get real world results that you can tangibly look back and be like, if I didn't take that fucking course, I wouldn't have this outcome. I want it to be very clear. If you didn't take that fucking course, you wouldn't have that outcome. All right, so I really have a very similar tact if I was talking to a girl. If I met a girl that I was interested in and maybe we were thinking about dating, I'd like to tell her 10 or 15 things that she's going to find very annoying and maybe offensive. And this is what it's going to be. And if she's not into that, then no worries. I'd love to know that right now. I'd love to know right away that, I have a vasectomy. I rather hate kids. You're never going to move an animal into my home. I have my money bunny, which, are you guys aware of the money bunny? No, I didn't have a rabbit. I didn't have a pet for a long time. And I recently procured a rabbit, and his name is the Money Bunny. And so I do hang out with my pet rabbit sometimes. And literally, we look at financial statements. He sits up here on my chest. I hold him kind of upside down. People call it animal abuse, but he's not quite upside. You're not supposed to hold a rabbit upside down because it's like a defense mechanism that they kind of play dead. So I don't do that to it, but to a dummy that doesn't know better is he's upright. He's not backwards. He's upright. But we kick back together and we play with financial statements and talk about stock market, talk about entrepreneurship. They think I'm joking, but so I hang out with the Money Bunny. But I tell her you're not going to play music. Tell the girls, we're not. TV is not on. We're not going to watch TV. There's no TV. You're not going to play music in the house. There's no music. There's no music. If I wanted to be distracted by noise, I'd put on a podcast or a documentary. Other than that, I just wanted to be quiet. Just quiet. All right, so, there's some girls out there, if you told them, you got to get rid of your cat, I'm taking your music away, and if I ask you to do something, I'll say it politely, but I mean immediately. Do it immediately, right now. There's some girls out there that they just find that egregious, That's not my girlfriend. I don't give a fuck. So I just suggest to you is who is your client? Who is the person that you could best serve? And then get rid of all the bullshit fluff talk. And if Tony or Travis or somebody, if they have a communication with a client or a potential client, somebody submits an application, they're not having a conversation about trying to fucking it ain't a sales call. Right. If that person's not telling, what do I say all the time about this shit? If they're not going to keep up to the level of work that you guys keep, why the fuck do we want somebody like that in the group? It's a contaminant. It's a pollutant. If you need to close the deal, you can't close the deal. If you need to make it work, no woman wants to be part of that. No decent client wants to be part of that. I don't know how to say it more to the core of the idea is I don't care which one comes. I don't care. There's going to be a beautiful girl that's going to be happy to dance to my music. I don't care which one. Which one I want to, whichever one we're going to get along best. You notice I don't say whichever one's going to kiss my ass, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way. Whichever one, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to go out of my way to make her life fantastic in numerous ways. But God damn it, if I want something done, it's going to happen right now. And if she don't want to sign up for that, that's fine. Then, go. The dating pool is quite diverse. There's a whole huge dating economy out there. She can go find anybody else in the world she wants to, just fine by me. But the girl that I'm going to spend time to, I want to buy her nice things. I want to make her life very easy in many ways. But when I want something done, it's going to get done right now. If she don't want to sign up for that, no problem. Who do I want as a client? Whoever the fuck I'm going to get along with best. Whoever we're going to have the most fun and make the most money and accrue the most happiness points, utils. Happiness points together in our adventures. I don't need anybody else to come. You know what? The other clients are going to pay me more to be around those type of people. How many of you literally or consciously have paid more money to do something with this group because the group's going to be good quality? Because Derek's kind of a fussy asshole and he's not going to let certain type of people around. Yeah, it's they're literally paying me for that service. They're literally paying me for the service. They're paying me more money to turn down some money that would be a pollutant if we took it. Right. So yeah, I think about that. If I took, there's people that offer us pretty good chunks of money sometimes, 20,000 commonly, or 75,000 for one-on-one to hang out for a couple of days or something. And I'm just like, if it's not going to be fun, I don't want it. And I can't, especially the mastermind group is like, I can't take money from, there's some people we just can't take the money from. It's not that I wouldn't mind having an extra 20 grand. It's like 20 grand's 20 grand, But if you looked at the accounting of that, it's like, all right, you added a $20,000 asset to your balance sheet. You go to the assets column, you mark down, you got another $20,000 asset. But if the liability on the other side is, if they bring you $100,000, or to take the $20,000 from somebody that I don't like, that you people aren't going to like, that might cost a $500,000 liability later. That might be a $500,000 liability later that now we got this fucking schmuck that's part of the group that's doing something bizarre that makes it uncomfortable or annoying, or when you're making a decision of like, hey, am I going to clear my weekend and travel somewhere to go be part of that group? Or am I going to fucking, take a pass this time? There's that fucking weird guy in your head. It's like, is that fucking weirdo going to be there? So I might have got a $20,000 asset, but I might have taken on a $50,000 or $100,000 liability with it. Well, how does that net out? So it's better off to say no to,
Right.
you don't want the wrong money.
The people that say it's too much, which I know it's not what these guys make. It's like, you're going to be the hardest client I ever have if I lower my price for you.
Yeah, don't compete on price. Just add more value. Just add more value to the equation. Don't compete on price. It's not a good game to play, in my opinion. Don't be a commodity. If you have to compete on price, it's because you're a commoditized item that's readily available in the market somewhere else. So, which means you have to have a more differentiated offering. That might change your career significantly, what I just said. Did you get what I just said?
Yeah, very much.
If you feel that you have to compete on price, it's because you're not sufficiently differentiated from your competition, and you're just a commoditized nobody. Right. And they can easily go somewhere else and get a similar product, service, experience, etc. So then we go back to that equation of raise your value. Raise your value and the price isn't an issue.
My mistake that I've been doing is they just keep on prodding. They got to know every single minute detail. And the more that they know, then it doesn't look commoditized anymore. Or it doesn't look differentiated. I'm not differentiating myself when I actually break things down for them.
You got to tell them that, look, I understand you have a lot of questions. You say, this is what we do. I do this, I do this, I do that. If you want that outcome, you're not paying me to answer all your questions. You're paying me to help you achieve an outcome. If you value that outcome, I'll take the time to understand. I'll ask you some questions and take the time to understand your situation to see if I'm the best person to provide you that outcome, yes or no. And you'll make a decision if I can do it. If I think I am the best person to provide that outcome, I'll recommend that we do work together, and I'll put together a proposal based on your needs to make sure that we can achieve what you need achieved, and maybe more. Okay, but don't get yourself into that cycle of a bunch of questions. What's the number one thing about the mastermind group about questions? What's the number one thing I say about that?
Yeah, if you have a lot of questions, it's not clear.
If it's not clear to them that they're supposed to be there, I don't want them there. If it's not obvious to them that they would get a lot more money than they're paying back, if it's not obvious, it's not the right person. I'd rather not have them. I just want to know, is it a good value? No, it's not a good value. No, we say that. It's not a good value. It's a great luxury. It's a great luxury. It's a luxury to be around other people that are that quality of person. It's a luxury to be around, to understand the vision that I have for that and what I'm building there, and especially being an earlier member to that you'll be well known by the other members, that it's going to be harder to be recognized later on because there's a lot of people that would give us that amount of money and more. So, literally, say, is it a good value? No, it's great luxury. If you got to ask a lot of questions, it's probably not for you. So, So yeah, that sounds cute, Derek, but I just blah blah blah. Say, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I have like so many lines that I'm going to be using on these calls.
They're not lines. That's where you're getting in trouble. Do you guys see it when he's saying, he's making sales calls, and then I spend 10 more minutes talking about it, and then he thinks he's got some one-liners in his arsenal, that there's some magic to that. Do you guys see the problem that's happening? You're going to continue to have this problem until you shift that underlying thought. You haven't shifted away from the thought. You don't even believe that you're valuable to the client, and that's why you're not closing the fucking deal. If you were valuable to the client, you wouldn't waste your time answering all these questions. You'd say, you're not paying me to answer all your questions, you're paying me for an outcome. Now, if you're serious about achieving that outcome, I have a few questions that I need to ask you so I can be certain that I'm the best person to help you with your current situation. Or if I'm not the best person, I'll try to point you in the right direction with someone else. So yeah, but I just need to ask you blah, blah, blah. Say, I'm not sure that this is going to be a great fit. I don't think you understand the process here of who I am and what I do. And if you want to ask a lot of questions and go through a long process and a long proposal, there's somebody else that might have time to do that. But I'm going to be spending my time helping my clients achieve real outcomes. Do you want to ask questions, or do you want to have outcomes? Help me understand who you are. And if they're ready for an outcome, then you can have a conversation. And if they want to ask you 20 more questions, let them go. Quit wasting your life. Do you get this?
Yeah, no, I do.
You still don't fucking get it.
I said lines. What I meant was mindsets. Programmer.
Yeah.
Say things different.
Now his rhetorical skills are getting better, but he still don't understand what the fuck I'm saying. When you have that click in your head sincerely, when you get rid of that silly smile that you have half of the day, and when you have that click in your head sincerely, your outcomes will change significantly. And as long as you hold on to that you're trying to get something or trick the client or persuade or convince them, for as long as you're thinking about that, you're going to have trouble in your dating life, you're going to have trouble in your professional life, that it's going to be very suboptimal. If you think you need to trick somebody or convince or persuade versus, defining clearly who are the people that I could help most. How would I have to communicate to those people to get their attention, from them to become aware that it would be in their selfish best interest to work with you, to contract with you, so you could help them solve a problem. When you get to that, you're gonna just close deals left and right. And until then, you're gonna struggle. And that's what it is. That's another affliction that all of us have. I'm not criticizing, it's myself included. It's another affliction that all of us have is, everybody, but my little special something is so different. But my little thing is special. My problem is very special and very unique and is so different. And it's all pretty much the same shit that the other humans are dealing with, one way or another. And I say that with respect, by the way. I'm not saying it in a snotty way. And and I see myself. I think everybody falls into those traps. There's but my little unique something, 'cause, it feels very emotional and like it's a big deal to you. And it's just the same shit. But about the more you could objectify that and be like, there's only a few dozen problems that humans have, period, and you just have some permutation of those same common problems that every other idiot has. And if you could just help yourself, if you could control your emotions to be just a few percent less idiotic, you'd have tremendously better outcomes, And again, I say these words respectfully. It's the same internal self-talk that I say to myself. It's like, well, you got the same problems as all the other idiots. If you could be just a little less idiotic than them, you could have a lot better outcomes. And if you could laugh at yourself and objectify those happenings and laugh at yourself, that when you're at least identifying that you're falling victim to another one of these human thought foibles, the cognitive biases, etc., that you're probably right on track to get past some of those. And then you just, when we talked about earlier, then you'll just have some different problems. Your reward for overcoming your current problems are just going to be more difficult problems. You don't get like a life of leisure on a beach necessarily. Like your reward for overcoming your current problems is you're now qualified to tackle more difficult problems. But this is a Brian Tracy quote. Your success in life will be directly proportional to the size of the problems that you're able to overcome. So You'll be well compensated for solving problems that other people couldn't solve.
So if you're looking to acquire the skills to be a real estate investor, this course will give you the clarity to do that. You'll learn how to analyze a deal, to recognize a good deal, what metrics to look for, so that when a right deal comes along, you're there ready to execute on it. So you don't want to be fumbling around by yourself and making costly mistakes. This is an opportunity to learn this field in depth. Derek goes into a lot of detail. It's very, very practical, and you can get excellent real world results. You won't believe how much you'll learn. So the opportunity cost of just not doing it is really just too big.
Thanks for watching. Success is not for everybody, and it may not be for you. If you are or are on your way to be a millionaire or multimillionaire, probably going to want to spend time with my clients. Probably going to want to have a personal relationship with me so we can accelerate that process, get you living up to your maximum potential, earning your maximum wage. You're going to want to click that follow button. You're going to want to click that bell and get notifications. Tune in every Friday. Tune in every Monday. You're going to love what you see. I look forward to having you as a client in the future.